Lots of times when we talk about this vortex and this collective consciousness, it feels to humans that what we're talking about is that you can get into vibrational alignment, and when you do, you can change the world. And what we want to say is, when you get into vibrational alignment, you can change your world, and that's as far as your personal freedom goes. You can change your point of attraction. You can change what comes to you. You can change what thoughts come to you. You can change how much you are in concert with source energy. And so then the next logical sequential thought that comes from most humans is, well, if I do that, Abraham, if I envision peace on earth, if I create a vortex of that, if I align with that, if all that is joins me and we find this vibration of clarity, then will the world not have to rise with us to that vibration? And we say, don't you think that all that is has been after that for as long as you've been around? Don't you think that source energy, that which is God, that which is love, is focused on that and only that? And with all of that is happening, still humans find ways of pinching themselves off from that. But you cannot let your sense of alignment, your sense of well-being be contingent upon what else is going on around you, or you'll just never get there. There's a human premise that goes like this: there are things that are always good and there are things that are always bad. And the way the expansion of the universe happens is that there's not a pre-assigned destiny to anything. There is a variety that produces individual desires, and then when you come into alignment with those desires, then that becomes your experience. It is logical that there could be enough contrast that could be happening in the lives of focused people that they could be building a vortex that includes a very different life. In fact, that's been going on for a long time. That's been going on for a very long time. As people starve, the vortex becomes filled with more food. As people are impoverished, the world is filled with more financial gain. As people are frightened by the assertion of others with violence into their experience, the world is really filled with more peace. But it's filled with this vibrational reality that humans can't see. And so they don't want to accept the reality of it because they can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it. And one thing that we've noticed about humans, you've noticed it too, is that in most cases you'd rather have a negative thought than no thought at all. Because the negative thought feels like you're doing something about something. But once you begin to accept the reality of this vortex, and you begin to accept the well-being of life on planet Earth that you've created through the struggles and through the trials and tribulations and contrasts that you've lived, if you can believe in the reality of this vibrational reality, and then you can distract yourself from the things that cause you to push against it and not achieve it long enough that your vibration can rise, when enough of you have that rise in vibration, then what's in your vortex will be realized by more of you. So if you can accept that there is a vibrational reality, that there is a vibrational reality that includes love and clarity and peace, but it also includes the contrast that keeps all of that going. If you can accept that this vibrational reality exists, and then you can get off the big subjects, get off of your soapboxes, stop trying to make everything bigger than it really is, and just find a reason right now while you're standing in line with these people to feel satisfaction about something. Or right now in this moment when you're talking with your children or with your mother or with your brother or with your employer or with your employee, to find something that you feel satisfaction about, till little by little you tune yourself to the frequency of everything that you want that's in your vortex. Now, it doesn't take very many of you before you tip the balance of that. But we don't want to talk to you about what you need to do in order to change the world, and then the changed world will make you feel better. That's the same conditional life that you've been living that isn't working out well for you at all. What we want you to do is find satisfaction so that you can live the satisfaction that you deserve. And as you do that, and you do it consistently, then others begin to rise to your vibration. And of course, there is the potential to more people feeling more love. But that can't matter to you. You can't let your happiness and your connection be contingent upon what one person is doing on the planet. It's all an inside job. It's all about what you're doing. So stop for just a moment. Think about what the path of least resistance is. The path of least resistance is the path that your inner being is calling you to, where you have the least resistant thoughts and can follow along. In other words, it's the path of your least resistant thoughts. Look at it this way. Your inner being knows where you are and where you want to be in relationship to where you are, and knows what the least resistant path is, and is with you all day, every day, offering satisfying thoughts to lead you along that least resistant path. Haven't heard it like that before, have you? The path of least resistance is the path you're on that you feel the most satisfied on. So, for example, it's sort of like children who are going past the candy store and they want candy and their mother is trying to get their attention over here instead. Well, your inner being is always calling you, wanting to get your attention to things that your inner being knows are satisfying to you, that will just lead to more and more and more and more and more. It would be more positive for us to say path of most allowance. But we want to acknowledge that you do have resistance on your path and that it's okay. And that it's logical that you would, and it's no big deal because your inner being knows where all of it is and is guiding you around it. So again, that balance that you're talking about. If you're going 100 miles an hour and you hit a tree, it's a bigger problem than if you're going 5 miles an hour and you hit a tree. So sometimes humans would conclude, since hitting the tree is a problem, that they'll just go 5 miles an hour from now on. And we say, that's no fun. That's no fun. You want to go way fast and you just want to pay attention to what you're doing. Think about being in a really beautifully designed car that has a very low profile and it's got a gear ratio that's perfection. And when you get in it, you're not just looking for one big old straight road with a sign on it that says 100 miles an hour is okay. You want to get on some of those mountain roads. You want to feel that car do things other cars don't do. You want to drive it. Most of all, you want to feel your ability to take it where you want it to be. It's the trail of diversity that makes your interest in the journey so sweet. But humans think, just give me a direct path from here to here, and when I get over there, then I'll be happy. And we say, no, it's the driving really fast with lots of things that you have to pay attention to that is the sweetness of life. All of this magic is woven into what you are living. Esther was listening to a couple at the airport the other day who apparently were going to California, and they were starting out in Santa Monica, and Esther listened to the whole itinerary, and she so wanted to tell them of all the places that she knows are all around all of those places. But she sat and minded her own business, which was hard for her to do, while she listened to them plan their week. And she could feel their tension as they were trying to figure out how many miles it was from this to this and what they were going to do about that. And Esther thought, oh, wouldn't it be just the most wonderful thing if you could just show up there all refreshed and just follow your impulse to not just the places that you want to see, but to the timing of the good stuff in the places. This is what you said, and we're wanting to say back to you. It's not so much about the places that you're going. It's about the timing of the rendezvousing with who else is at that place, with what else is at that place. One day, Jerry and Esther were driving down the canyon. It's Oak Creek Canyon in Sedona. And it was October 16th, and it was about 2:40 in the afternoon. And the sun was shining through the trees, and the trees looked like they were on fire. And they had never seen anything so beautiful or magical as that drive down that canyon on that day. So they put it on their calendar, and for the next 3 years, they got a bus. They were living in Phoenix at the time. And they loaded all those who were near and dear to them on the bus on October 16th, started at the top of that canyon and drove down it for that timing, and never rendezvoused with anything close to that again. Because you can't put it on the calendar. It's about who you are and what you're offering and what you've put into your vortex and the cooperative components that have been gathered in your vortex and your inner being's incredible, alert, and accurate and intimate knowledge of every single thing that's in that in relationship to where you might be. So that the more tuned you are to satisfaction, then the more open you are to be receptive and responsive to the impulses that come, and the more day after moment magic that you live. Not just grind, and then go to California for a week and try to cram everything good that you can into a week's time. Esther felt exhausted for them. And they were arguing about what they should spend their time doing. She wanted to go to Hearst Castle. He couldn't care less. And Esther wanted to say, go there. But take the personally guided tour. That way you can just skip over the stuff you really don't like and look at the stuff you really do like. She wants to be their inner being. Your inner being who knows where the wonder is, and most important, here's the piece we want you to hear, knows how much magic and wonder. It's not magic, but that's a good word. You like the word. It feels sweet to you. So your inner being knows where the most magic is that you can let in. Your inner being is completely aware of the capacity that you have in every moment in time for the magic. So imagine if you're practicing being satisfied, less and less resistance that you're introducing to the equation. So more and more momentum in that feeling of satisfaction. Can you imagine what you are queued up for your inner being to point out to you? Now, don't misunderstand us. We need to be very clear about this. Your inner being is not holding back on the magic. Your capacity to acknowledge it is what the holdup is. We are not saying, well, we could point him over there, but he's not really ready for that trip. Everything that you're asking for, a path is being highlighted for you. But sometimes you're just sort of dense. You just don't have the ability to sharply focus and see some of those special trails that have so much potential for satisfaction. It's like you just want to stay on the main thoroughfare and go as fast as you can when there's so much in all those other places that can thrill and delight you and satisfy you even more. We've enjoyed this interaction. It's exhilarating to come together. Exhilarating. Do you understand that word? Exhilarating. It is the most high-flying experience imaginable by us, to come together with those like you who have been willing to expose yourself to enough contrast to expand into enough momentum that we get to ride and be. And then to watch you deliberately finding resonance with that momentum until you're flying and riding and funning right along with us. Can you imagine how exhilarating it is for us to stand in complete knowing of what we know, and to speak it out into a room where many are listening, and to watch you again and again receive completely the resonance of what we've offered, and know that you're getting it at every level of your being. There is no satisfaction that is greater than that for us. There is no satisfaction that is greater than for you who are part of us to come forth and become more than you were when you were part of us. And then to throw to us that further expansion that you carved out. And then for us to hold that expansion steadily with momentum. And then to watch you come back into resonance with all that we have together become. There is no greater satisfaction in this eternal becoming that we are all a part of. We all make too much of all of this, you know. Life's going to cause you to launch those rockets. And if you care about how you feel, you're going to write plenty of them. That's about as long as this seminar should be. You were born, you're good, you know what you want, get happy, it'll come. There is great love here for you. And as always remain